Ready? Are you ready to start recording? You ready to be on video? We're on video. What's up, everybody? Alright. I am Adam S. If you don't know me, this is the Adam Says Things NSFL Vidcast. I changed up the entrance, and now, my mind just totally went blank. But you got your daisy tacks out of the way. Who's everything? You wanna come back? You wanna come back? Oh. Yours. Where's my girl? My girl. She just wants to be held. Anyway, guten Tag. Welcome. Today's a good day. It's Friday for me. It's Wednesday in the real world. We got preseason football for the NSFL going on. Lots of things happening. And today's going to be a special episode of the Vidcast. We're mostly focusing on the draft, as far as I know. I'm going to do that thing I keep saying I'm going to do. I'm not going to give you any information. I'm not going to give you any opinions. I'm not going to do any intro. I'm just going to go straight into the questions. So that don't actually accidentally answer some stuff ahead of time. Can I sit in my lap? Daisy just wants to sit in my lap today. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get on the right page because that would be helpful. Boop, 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 boop. Yahtzee. And now, come on. Firefox is like, now I'm going to be slow. My nose itches. I was not going to touch my face. I'm trying not to touch my face when I'm on video because I'm just all over my face all the time. So, no more touching my face for the next hour and change. Because I've been told that's probably what it's going to be. Okay, let's just go straight into the questions. Let's do this. We got people. I just did it even. Alright, here we go. I'm immediately terrible. Okay, we'll be filming Wednesday afternoon. I'm reading my own post now. Alright, here we go. Let's just go straight into questions. I hope we got some good ones. I've heard there's quite a few. I'm going to adjust this a little bit so we can read. There we go. And of course, you got to see the lovely artwork in the back. Definitely picked up. This one is my favorite right here. Owls in the moonlight. It's really awesome. I like the flowers too. The flowers nice. Where's that other one? I don't know if you can see it over here. The one that's like right there. You can't quite see it, but it's also anyway. Let's just jump. Raven has the first question. Here we go. Why will the Copperheads finish dead last in the ASFC and league, and why are you so willing to lose all your money on bets? Raven, this is your answer. It's right here. Right here. Strategically placed. Hang on. Let's drawbridge this. You can cross now. It's safe to cross now. Now, this is in response to those of you who weren't there the other night. I did it again. I touched my face. Season predictions went out, and a number of people actually had the Copperheads finishing dead last in the SFC, which is a really dumb prediction. Just straight up, you're a fucking idiot who's not paying attention, or a new person. New people, awesome. Other people, not as awesome. Come on. We didn't even finish last season, and we got better. And at least one team ahead of us got worse. So, and we didn't even get all of our wins last season that we were supposed to have. So, you know. Anyway, so I made a bet, which I did say I was going to repeat anyway. And the bet goes like this. Anybody who in their season predictions says the Copperheads will finish last in the ASFC, you can put up $2 million to defend that bet, to defend that prediction. And I will put up 3. And whichever one of us is right, is right. Because the Copperheads will not finish last. I also added a second addendum to that, or a first addendum to that bet, which is any GM or member of HO who made that stupid prediction. You can put up 2 and I'll put up 5. It's pretty much put your money where your mouth is. It's that simple. No one has yet to take me up on that bet. Raven has suggested he might not want to do them because they're uneven. I'm pretty sure we've done uneven bets before. I think uneven bets are kind of basic things, but then again, I live in Vegas, so I may be biased. What do you think, Daisy? Yeah, Daisy's on board. Okay, Raven, I'm not gonna thank you for your question. Just not even math. Just one. Isa, how you doing, man? What team do you think won the draft? See, now that's complicated, and this is exactly why somebody said that this is going to take me 2 hours. Okay, so it's very difficult to say a team specifically won the draft because walking into the draft, I have one set of needs, requirements, expectations, assets. Orange County has a different set of needs, requirements, expectations, assets. Accents? They might have a different set of accents too, actually. You go down the line team to team, and you can't say, well, this team has a standard B plus and this team has a standard C minus based on some universal chart, because there really isn't. There's a lot of different things in play. Now, for example, the Copperheads draft. I'm sure somebody's going to ask me about that. I think we did much better than the grades we're getting because we got the people we wanted at places we needed them. We've got stuff going forward to the future. I think we did great. We're very, very happy with the way the draft turned out for us. Other people giving us C pluses and stuff. All that really turns into is just people not getting that there are different grading standards, there are different situations. That's what it is. So it's hard to say somebody won the draft. I think we won the draft. And you're going to find 4 or 5 GMs who think they won the draft. And for their own reasons and standards and needs, they did. So you could argue that about half the league won the draft. I think there's one very clear loser in the draft, which is your next question anyway. I'm glad I glanced down and kind of had that instinct. So I'm just going to pause that for a second and then go to the next question. Which team do you think had the worst draft? I think it was Chicago. I think there's no dispute. They came into the draft handicapped by a lack of draft capital. The new GMs were kind of just hampered right away. They did some wheeling and dealing and tried to pick up some picks eventually. They did some wheeling and dealing with me. They eventually got more picks from me in exchange for stuff we wanted. But they definitely lost the draft. And it's hard to dispute, and it doesn't really require explaining. You could say it's not their fault even, because literally they just took over. You can't blame somebody for not having assets when they took over 2 weeks before and the assets have been gone for months. So, tis what tis. Who was the steal of the draft? Were there any other players who dropped further than expected? There's a lot of steals. You could argue. There was talk about D-Rector's player, where people were like, oh my god, nobody knew he secretly had over 200 TPE. And in that same write-up, the person was pointing out that we clearly would have taken him instead of Danger Zone. And at the same time, they were operating under a false assumption of Danger Zone's amount of TPE, because Danger Zone also had over 200 TPE, and nobody realized. So I kind of feel like we stole him a little bit at pick 13. I feel like, just to go into my own people, I feel like my later picks, CPE and Wayne, are going to be steals in the long run. I think the 2 running backs taken in the second round are steals, because quite frankly their quality is higher than that. I want to say Beck's more than Shadows, but then again Shadows is a long-term member who had a great first player in Godfrey King a while ago. So both of them are people who could make you look silly eventually. And I know something about that. Just a quick reminder to Bex, to Shadows, that Dick Wizardry was picked number 10 when that was a second round pick. So Dick Wizardry now has more TP and has lasted longer than most of the people picked in front of him. So keep that in mind. People be stupid, yo. What did you think of the trades in the draft? I think I was involved in most of them. No, I was only involved in 2? 3? One of them was pre-draft. I don't think there was anything egregious that really stood out to me in terms of trades. In fact, I'd have to go back and look at what the trades were, and usually that's a sign that they weren't that huge. Because usually if trades are pretty big, you remember them. You remember where you were when X team did X thing for X player with X draft. Like that people still talk about various trades to this day with full detailed clarity. So just don't think there were any that were that big. Who do you think improved their roster the most for season 18 for immediate impact with this draft? New Orleans. I think the obvious answer is because they got another just tremendous D lineman right away who can contribute right away because D lineman can. What was the most? So I'll just go with New Orleans. We obviously, I feel, improved our roster for immediate use as well. But yeah, go with New Orleans for picking you, who answered the question, which is weird. I know that makes you weird. It makes you feel weird inside when people talk about you as the number one pick and then you as the quality. So it's got to be like doubly weird that you answered the question to which you are the answer. Anyway, thank you for the questions, and can't wait to get started on our project. Yeah, I'm just going to tease it like that and not say anything else. Moody! I really got to start. I got to come up with like another joke or something like that. Did I see your ears perk up back there when I did that? Dog noise, okay. Do you have any super early takes on the season 19 draft now that the VSL draft has taken place? It's small. I think we're actually getting a couple of new people today. I just saw somebody else sign up today because it could end up being just a regular small draft rather than a tiny draft. We will see what happens. It's a fair. The 4 recreate quarterback situation is weird. Don't know what's gonna happen there. I mean, obviously, in some cases, pretty much, SLM is gonna go to Philly because he is still currently a GM. So unless something crazy happens where they suddenly hire their GM just before the draft, that would be weird and nuts. I would much rather they draft SLM with the second round pick and then announce somebody else as their co-GM the next day, so that way we get to have that argument, because that'll be fun. 4, because you got what? SLM, you got Leifer, you got Warren, and then you got Waldo, who, okay, real talk, Waldo, if you're watching this, change your fucking position. It's not going to work for you, man. I've heard about the conversations you've been having. Listen, real talk, league dad, change your position. It's not going to happen. It's not. The last person who was in a similar position to you was Jiggly, and he literally required like an expansion to happen for him to become quarterback. He sat for several years in the NSFL. I don't think that's what you want. I think you need to pick a different position, and you need it to be somewhere where you're going to be involved in stats, and you want it to be somewhere with lots of space available so that you actually can get in. I would recommend switching to linebacker. Linebackers get a ton of stats. Or safety. Safeties get a ton of stats. You'd be much more valuable on the defensive side. You will get picked higher. You will get picked at all. You will make it to the league. But as a quarterback, you are going to have a very hard time. Especially right now, we have a ton of young quarterbacks. The oldest quarterback left in the league now is, I think, Bigsby and Havren, and they're only fourth-year starters. Like, it's not going to happen, bro. I think you need to take a minute and just mourn this isn't the right time, whatever it is. I mean, if you stick around for a couple of years, you're going to get more character opportunities, and the right time might pop up. This isn't it. So you really need to take advantage of, before you do anything else, change position today. As soon as you see this, it's the right thing to do. It's the smart thing to do. You will thank me later. You will have more fun with it. That's all I can do. What do you think of all the quarterbacks being created? Like, fucking, like, even when I don't answer shit ahead of time, it fucking happens. You see this? I told my wife too. I was like, yeah, I'm really excited. I'm gonna do this. I keep saying I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, and I'm not gonna have this happen. And it fucking happened anyway. God damn it. Well, there you go. Now you got your answer. That's what I think. Will the Copperheads actually be updated in time for the first regular season game this year? One hopes. One hopes. It'd be nice to actually have game 1 of the regular season where we actually have all of our people in play, or even 7 out of 8. I mean, we played game 2 and game 3 with only 7 out of the 8 fixed. Shout out to Takeda Okura, who spent the entire first week, 3 games last season, sitting at 84 speed instead of 89. Sure, though, that 5 speed at that level, which we always hear speed is king, just didn't make a difference, yo, because I get told it didn't make a difference, you fucking liars. Hopefully we get updated. Yeah, that'd be nice. But, I just self-edited. That was me self-editing right there. Shout-outs to our updater, Teal. Thank you for your questions, Moody. As always, my dude, who's in Austin for 3 additional seasons. We just re-signed him. We've got a great re-signing class going on right now. We just re-signed Moody. We just re-signed Tomas NZ. I'm in the process of signing Bakshi right now. That's a spoiler. That hasn't gone up yet. I'm getting notifications actually, so I'm betting that might be him responding to my contract offer, which would be great. Hang on. Let's see if we can do this right here. Let's see. No, it's Joe. It's Joe. Okay. I've never been more disappointed to hear from you, Joe. I thought that was actually right there. That would have been cool to have like a contract signing right there on the podcast. That would have been fun. Alright, anyway, I accidentally read the next question. That's going to be amazing. Yeah, we're going to be updated. It's going to be good. We got stuff going forward. We got people locked up long term. It's awesome. I got people left, right, and center going. People who aren't even like up for re-signing this year are like, when can I resign? When can I resign? When can I resign longer? You better not fucking trade me. I want to no trade. And I love that. I love that that's the culture we've built, and that people want to be in the Austin locker room and on the Austin team, and that's just amazing. So hopefully we get updated. But like I said, in the locker room, we can't focus on what was done to us. We have to focus on what we're going to do to them. So I'll talk at you later, I'm sure, Moody. Let's go to Echo. Or Eco? Is it Echo or Eco? It's spelled like Eco rather than Echo, so I should probably say Eco. So if 2 bananas were fighting a peach, how do you think that would go down? I got nothing for this. Usually this is where I pop back with a joke, but okay, so strategically the bananas got reach, right? So the peach is at a disadvantage there. But also the peach can play defensive. They gotta come to him or her. Whatever. I don't know my fruit gender identifiers. Actually I think all fruit is female technically. So there we go. So the 2 bananas gotta come at her. Right? So I think that Peach has to play defensive, and if she does, she's got a shot because they're longer. Their center of gravity is going to be higher up. She can knock them down a little easier. She's got more girth. She's got more like width, which I know a little something about. I'm built like a fullback, So if she can get them to come to her and then like take one of the little bit of that, a little bit of that. You know, I think she's got a chance, but it really depends on how experienced the bananas are at fighting as a unit. Because if it's like the bananas and pajamas, she's screwed. Because those two fuckers are, you know, they're on point. If it's just two random bananas, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. And the thing is, they got to get in close, even though they've got that reach. They got to get in close to get at her. So really, all she needs is one of them to get too close, and then boom, she can body him, you know. And then it's down to a one-on-one situation where I think the peach is clearly going to have an advantage over the banana. So there you go. Analysis. Thank you for the question, Eco. And I gotta add some stuff to my Twitter. I need to remember to claim my Twitter, actually. Sabadonut Man, one of the people who picked us to finish last, by the way. So, you know, you've been talked about already in this podcast. Who are your early Ultimate favorites? YKW. Yellow Nova Wraiths are the favorite to win the Ultimates this year. They're the most complete team currently. They just upgraded at the GM spot. They're gonna be the team to beat unless weird luck happens to them, which does happen, but they're your favorites. You should have them as your favorites in all your predictions. What rookie will make the greatest impact on their team? It's one of two. No, because I don't remember the Arizona running back situation. I don't remember the San Jose running back situation either, now that I think about it. I'm going to say I'm slightly underqualified to say. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head without looking. But I think Vex's running back is your immediate starter. So that's possible. I know that Isa's DT is an immediate starter. So that's going to have some impact because the defensive line has a significant impact on the game engine. Are there any rookie quarterbacks? No. So it's one of those two, I think, most likely. But I think we're at a point where talent is spread enough around that it's going to be a little difficult for a rookie to make like this massive impact. But we will see. I've been wrong before. Who does most of the draft stuff between you and Joe? Me, for sure. I don't want to put a number on it, but a lot. I do a lot percentage. That's what I do. Joe's job when it comes to drafting and draft prep is usually to go in and poke holes in all my theories and figure out where I'm wrong, so that, you know, to make sure that we're going on the right track. And a lot of times he'll have insights into people that I don't have as well, so we'll be able to adjust things. But primarily it's going to be me. That's the way we run. And then he does a lot of the groundwork for trades. He'll usually go talk to GM more than I will, and then I'll finalize a lot of things, or he'll finalize a few things if we're headed in that direction. But most of the draft stuff's me. Thank you for your questions. Big brother, Mertzy. How many hours did you put into scouting? All of them. Depends on what you mean by scouting. Because, you know, my scouting is different. A lot. I put a lot of hours into scouting. I do. Because the end results of scouting are going to be like who ends up on the team and who I've got to have in the locker room with the rest of my team. If you make wrong moves, a couple of wrong moves in your draft, and you could screw up your whole locker room for literally months in real time. And that's definitely not some shit you want. So I put the hours in. Yeah. What team do you think will take the biggest nosedive next season compared to last? San Jose. I think everyone knows that. They're about to hit a hard rebuild phase. I think their current almost was phase is over, and now they're going to rebuild into their next almost was phase. Other than that, I think the Yeti are on the way up. I think Philly's on the way down, but I don't think they're nosediving. They're a little more graceful, and they're already working their way, already planning long term to work their way back up. So I think it's mostly just San Jose. What do you love to put on pancakes? I don't have pancakes all that often. I prefer waffles to pancakes. If I do have pancakes, some classic, just give me like butter and syrup. I'll be good. Why didn't you trade up to get me? It was too expensive. That's really the answer. It was too expensive. Don't think I didn't try. What do you think of the new OCO co-GM? I tried to trade up to get him too. And I was told, like, don't even bother offering, basically, for this reason. Because the plan was for him to go into GMing. That's Vert Laser, for anybody who is curious, aka Corin Abernathy. Yeah. What do you think of the Palm Beach relocation? It was cool that we had this weird team. So I knew it was only a matter of time before that got stomped into flames and something a little more generic took its place. We can't have fun things in the NSFL. That's not allowed. It's in the rulebook. So no. It was probably gonna happen, and it's a bot team too, so for the most part. So I always assumed something like that was gonna happen, and it's kind of a little too close to a real minor league hockey team, I think, or minor league baseball team, one of the two. Except they're Orlando Solar Bears, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's hockey there because that would make sense for baseball. So yeah, I think it is a minor league hockey team, a real one. So getting away from something that somebody's got like a trademark on, always a good idea. Outlaws and Sabercats. Oh, sorry, it's shit in my throat. Anyway, thank you for the questions, and you keep being sexy. We're gonna get a fucking Cards Against Humanity going in the locker room in the next couple of days. I know Vert is also in on that, so. Uppernet, favorite salamander facts. I like a real one or the ones I wrote for the Me6 prompt. I'm gonna actually find a random one I wrote for Me6. Let me see here. Salamander. All right, here we go. I'm gonna read this one. We have a lot of prompts on our Me6, and because everybody went nuts about salamanders, I wrote a bunch of bullshit prompts, which are fun. Everybody enjoys them. This one is: giant salamanders are 100% not evil beings from another planet here to infiltrate our society and bring us down from within in accordance to long-term invasion plans they've been acting out for over a millennium. There's a set of statements that are probably so out of fucking left field for anybody who's not in the Austin locker room. I love it. What's it? You lick yourself. Okay, I lick myself too. Like that. Never mind. I'm sorry, that was hard. Still feel like you're judging it. Thank you, Uppernet. Net gains, my #1 draft pick. Vert Laser. Okay, good. So at least I know he heard about the Cards Against Humanity thing. If you had to go back and redo the first round with players you thought best fits for team, who do you put where and why? Briefly, since this is a big ass question. The thing is, I can't pick anybody in the first round that wasn't like a bad fit for the team that picked them. I mean, it was all people of need and positions of need, so I think the first round pretty much stayed the same. I'm not sure I'd change anything. I mean, if I could selfishly make it so that New Orleans picked like an IA player at #1, and then all like the people I wanted were available to me every time I picked, I'd do that, obviously. But that's just not the way it works. So it's not really that big of a question, just because I think everyone kind of hit where they needed to be. I think this is kind of that sort of draft where you could do that, and so teams were doing that. So yeah, that's what you thought was a big question. Yeah. What do you think the standings will look like at the end of the season? I think everyone will have played 13 games. All the way down. 5 teams, and 5 teams, you'll be able to count it. It'll say 13 games every single time. Yeah. So that's, what? 13 times 5 is 50, 60, 65 games. I think 65 games will have been played. Because you only have to count half, because there's 2 teams in each game. So 65 games will be played. That's my theory. And then 6 teams will make the playoffs. And I think it'll go Yellowknife, Baltimore, Colorado on one side, and then on this side it'll go Orange County, Arizona, Austin. Some theory, in case you were looking for season predictions right there. And if anybody wants to throw out a season prediction but they don't want to do the work, just go find mine. And it's pretty good. Which player do you think will have the biggest impact on their new team, rookie or free agent? Big free agent signings. Were there? I don't want to say. Again, I don't think this is a situation, this particular year, I don't think it's a situation where one player is going to have that massive impact. Just by happenstance as much as anything else. Just where the various teams are in the league, where the players they brought in are, and in terms of their overall development. I think one player is going to change the game right now. You'd have to have like a high-level quarterback or like a high-level cornerback, maybe, or high-level DT, maybe, like move somewhere for it to really be a massive effect right away. Biggest impact. I mean, I kind of answered this with the rookies because I don't think there were any really free agents that are going to have a bigger impact than probably ISO or Bex, but you also never know. Like, you don't know. You never know. There could be some rookie DB who comes in and scores 2 defensive touchdowns in 2 separate games, and both the games the team wins by less than a touchdown, and those could be the 2 games that get them home field in the playoff, and then you'll be able to come back and say that rookie had this exact impact that led this team to this. But we don't know that right now, and it's hard to predict some of that sometimes. So for now, I'm going to go, yeah, and that's my answer. Thank you for your questions, and look forward to crushing for the next 10 seasons. Friendly, but crush. Fleshbag Soup, aka Earl Sauce. What do you think of the few position changes from the draft so far? I think you were one of them, weren't you? Obviously, the biggest of the group was Hall Monitor, with Zach Hall switching from tight end to defensive end, because it bumped him all the way up to the 2nd pick in the draft. I think I just heard that Dorfish Jimbo is changing position, and that probably has something to do with their draft as well. I think, like I said, if you change position, I think it shows you something about where a team is when an established person changes position. And it shows you about where a team is when a rookie changes position. Sometimes it just shows you something about the position. Like if there are 4 quarterbacks and the 4th one clearly needs to change position because it's not happening. Sometimes, like tight end, we had 100 people in the draft, and I think 47 of them were tight ends. So obviously, some of y'all were going to have to switch up. And the ones who are willing to do that sort of thing tend to get a little further ahead. Yeah. Other than that, not much to say about the position switches. I can't fucking talk sometimes. I swear to God. Like, I can't talk sometimes. It just makes me sad in my heart. It's like right in here. Right here. Just want to talk. You just want the words in the brain to come out in the correct order, volume, variety, pronunciation. And sometimes that just doesn't happen in my brain. So I do talk the way I type sometimes. Anyway, flesh bag. Thank you for your question. Lowly Crib, Breckenridge. Oh yeah, problem causer. Why didn't you draft legendary safety Tyron Breckenridge in the season 17 draft? Weren't you taken before I had a pick? Can't remember. Weren't you? I'm gonna go look that shit up now. I'm gonna go look that shit up now. I have a snarky answer, but I don't think I'm allowed to talk about that. Actually, no one's told me I'm not allowed to talk about that, so maybe I will. Oh, right, sorry, we don't have the season 17 draft listed, so I guess I'm just gonna go with you weren't there. You weren't there, man. You weren't there for me when I needed you to be there. Also, in season 17, I was picking different things. Because, what, we picked first, so we had Ashley Owens there. And we came back in and picked Kill, of course, because he was just awesome. Sorry you didn't make it. But, you know, as many of us know, you probably would have just ended up switching teams anyway to team back up with your old teammates. And, you know, significant sip. Anyway, thank you for your question. Valor, Mr. Leaf Jr., Mr. Leaf Jr. Senior in the third. How do you see the season playing out? I feel like I answered that quick. I do. Everybody will play 13 games. 6 teams will make the playoffs. Do the Copperheads have what it takes to make it to the AFC Championship game? Eh? You never know with the Sim. We're in one of those funky positions where we're not quite talented enough to be an obvious contender for the title. But we are good enough all across the board that we are a clear playoff contender. And the thing about that is you only have to get lucky once in the playoffs and you're in the AFC championship game again. Fucking again. I need to drink more when I record. Okay, you're sleeping. You don't give a shit. I need to drink more when I record. Maybe we have what it takes to get us to the game that decides if we go to the ASFC to our conference championship game. What happens in that game, I don't know. So we will see. But we are very talented across the board. So I think we have a shot. Oh, somebody else just did a giant salamander fact. Hey, Gaines, what's up? Pope consults with a representative of the giant salamander community before all major decisions. There you go. That's a giant salamander fact. Courtesy of the locker room of the Austin Copperhead. How do you feel about your draft class? I feel great about my draft class. Let me go through them. Got the number 10 pick, Net Gaines. My dude Upper Net, who, like I said, just posted. Great in the locker room. Tremendous in the locker room. And we liked him immediately. He was definitely one of our core, like, please one of these, like, 3 people fall to us. And I'm not going to say who the other 2 were. Because I don't need to. And you don't need to know. And because we don't operate the same as a lot of teams. A lot of teams will go, here's the rankings in order of who we want. This guy, then this guy, then this guy, then this guy. I use guy interchangeably. So we don't do that. We have more of a, here are the people at the top level. And if we get to the point where we have to actually pick between one of these people, we'll have that discussion then, because it's a fucking luxury. He was one of those people, so to be able to get him at 10 was just awesome. Just amazing. And he has experience as someone who is a linebacker who moves around the field, which is also good. Helps with a lot of defensive game planning. At 13, we got the danger zone. Xavier Adams. It's good. That almost didn't happen, actually. I think I can reveal that a little bit now. I won't go into super duper details, but initially there was a sort of conflict that we thought he wasn't going to want to come to our team, essentially. And we thought, we're not going to try to create that conflict there. And then we talked about it sort of last minute. We had some more extensive conversation on the topic, and it worked out. And so we were able to immediately bring him in, which was awesome because he had been one of the highest people on our board to begin with. So getting him at 13 is just a blessing, to be honest. In terms of NSFL, I'm not one of those people who calls everything nice that happens to me a blessing. I don't. Like that one aunt that we all have. It's like, yeah, your grilled cheese sandwich was a blessing. Hell yeah, amen. Like, okay, it's just a grilled cheese, Andy. Just calm the fuck down, please. Like that. I don't do that. But it just when 12 gets picked and he's not, and he's still sitting there, it's like, boom, slam dunk, drop your pants, enjoy yourself. I really shouldn't have put those two thoughts together. Those are supposed to be two very separate thoughts. Be very, very happy that something like that happens. In fact, let me see here. How quickly today. I think we actually picked him in like a couple of minutes. Doesn't show me now when the post actually was. Anyway, yeah, we were extremely happy that he was available when we came back, and then now we have somebody we can bring right in. And quick news flash for those of y'all who have been saying things like Xavier Adams will be a great starter in a couple of years. Xavier Adams is going to start in season 19. Okay, he's starting now, starting in season 18. He's starting now. He's also going to start in season 19. He's going to start now. He's going to be in our defense. So I look forward to him competing for Rookie of the Year right now. That's how it is. After that, we ended up trading our 23. We had already traded our 23 to NOLA, an unrelated situation. We had the 26th pick. We picked Thunderbugs defensive tackle, John Caleb Bradburton. I did typo, which I think made it to the draft, as John instead of John. Why would anyone just trust my spelling? Why would you do that? He's another guy we really liked in our talks and conversations and engaging with him in the locker room. So bringing him in as someone who can, at a position like DT is awesome. We're very happy about that. After that, Papadopoulos. We picked Wayne. Wayne, how you now? Wayne, how you know? Wayne, how you now? I always say how you know. How you know? I always switch up. One of the 17 people with some variation of the name Jay Steele. We liked him. We had fun with him. It was great. It was an easy pick at that position. He was one of the people left on our board that were just like, let's get a hold of him as fast as possible. And because he's going to be a great future player. And then after that, we actually traded the rest of our picks after the 36th pick. The Butchers picked up footballer, blocker man, CP Trellis player, and we basically just traded them the rest of what we kind of didn't need anyway, in our opinion, but which was valuable to them. So we gave them, I think, the 42 and the 50-something pick and 53, I think. and a couple of our IAs that we were planning on replacing anyway. It was great. We had this sort of value sitting here that we were planning on replacing Spencer Castle, Joseph Henry, and we were able to turn that into a trade for an O lineman who we really like, with a handler who I've played alongside. I managed to not say with right there, who I've played alongside before in a couple of leagues, who I really like. So getting somebody who's really going to be really good for the long term for us, for all that, was awesome. Very, very happy with the way that worked out. After that, we don't really have any more picks because, like I said, I traded most of them to Chicago, and then I eventually traded the rest of them to Chicago because I didn't want anybody else. And it was all IAs at that point anyway. So that's how I feel about my draft class. I feel it's awesome. I feel they added some dynamic to our locker room. I feel like they're going to add some stuff on the field. I always feel like we hit on everybody. And sometimes I end up being wrong, obviously. Earl Hamina and Nick Snyder both ended up being wrong. For the time I felt like we hit. So that happens. But a lot of other times when people felt like I got it wrong, and I felt was a hit, we nailed it. You know, Chase Jensen, for example. People weren't thrilled with that pick, and we knocked it out fucking hard, didn't we? People criticized picking Bieber as an O-lineman with our first, real draft, and Bieber's an extremely valuable member of our locker room and our war room. So suck it. Suck it gently, welcome to the night. I'm very excited about my draft class. Hey, I think I'm out of questions. I'm going to go ahead and put the kibosh on any additional questions. No más questionos. I know that's not the right thing, but I am pretty sure most of the league isn't informed enough to call me out on that. I'm going to have to ask what that actually is. So there we are. There we are. Lots of stuff. Lots of things we did. It's preseason now. Very excited to see where we're going and see what people are doing. I'm doing build advice right now in my locker room. Isn't that sexy? Got people active, got people working. The preseason, I think, starts today for the NSFL. We had the DSFL preseason yesterday. I think the NSFL preseason starts today, which means we're getting closer and closer. Monday, I believe, is the day. Monday is the day we're back to NSFL football, which is just amazing. I'm just gonna straight up yawn now because I'm a fucking professional. I'm very happy with the way our draft went. I am. It's with a draft this big, it's always easy to potentially sort of get lost and sort of make bad decisions based on either placing too much value on an individual player or too little value on an individual player. And what I mean by that is if you place too little value, it's because you have this idea in your brain of, I mean, it's a huge class, I can always find somebody else, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes doing that, you will not push as hard to get somebody who might be a huge difference maker, and you might miss out on that person. And on the other hand, thinking players have too much value is the opposite of that. Going, oh, nobody will replace this person, when you might have 5 or 6 people in the draft who are of that quality. Kind of gotta get in the nice, sweet little middle there. That's what you gotta be doing when you're drafting, and it's not the easiest thing in the world sometimes. Usually, most of the time, all the time, it's never the easiest thing in the world, ever. If you think it is, fuck you. Also, if you don't chew big red, fuck you. That's right. I said it. Nobody's brave enough to say it. I said it. Beyond that, That went on for longer than I thought it was going to. I don't have too much to add, to be honest. People kind of ask me all the questions that sort of wiped out stuff. You know, how excited I am about our upcoming season. I mean, I was a little more in detail about where I think we're going to be, but in terms of excitement level, I'm really I'm excited and I'm nervous at the same time for this upcoming season. And I say that because we're in a position now where we should be winning more games. We're in a position now where we're a good enough team to be favored in some more games. So we're now in a good enough position where the sim can screw us. That's pretty much what it is. And because we're not at that level yet of the super tippy top couple of teams, if the sim screws us over once or twice, that could our whole season, you know? So that's the reason I'm nervous, is because that it could, sim luck could just bite us in the ass, and we can't afford it as much as a few other teams can. So it could derail us a little bit. We are good enough now that we can be derailed. Like, that's like a weird first world NSFL problem, kind of. We will see how that actually happens in practice, and I'm hoping that game plan wise we'll be able to sort of mitigate some of the possibilities of that. We can only do so much in the sim because it will screw you over whenever it can. That's how we do. Yeah. Fantasy is in full swing, so that's interesting. I'm hearing that Axel Danielson is probably the #1 pick for most leagues. But I do know that I finally joined a league. I wasn't going to join a fantasy league this year, actually. I don't know why. I was just thinking, nah. And then yesterday, randomly, BW3 was like, I need one more person for a super late league. And I was like, fuck it, why not? I'll jump in. It's a super late league. It's super casual, whatever. And so I jump in, and it's like 3 GMs and a head office member and like fucking veteran member with a Hall of Fame player, and like, how the fuck does that happen? How the fuck does that happen? You tell me. You tell me, person who I can't hear when you're talking. You tell me. I always have this luck with my fantasy groups. Is I always end up in some like ridiculously overpowered group somehow. But, you know, it's fun. And then, you know, my fantasy strategy is just to pick out confidence, anyway, which has already been ruined by Young Cricket. Thanks a lot. But yeah, I'm fucking around a little bit this year. Let me go in and pick my own guys and you know, have fun with that and see what happens. Oh, I was the last person. Yeah. I hate when it's like, oh, there's a new post in this fantasy group, and then you look, and then it was your own post. I'm like, why is it telling me I'm the new post? I would have already seen. People want to know how relevant they're going to be in fantasy on my team. So what are we doing this year? How are we doing? I have people asking me all the time, and I'm sure other GMs get this too. And it's this thing that people don't always realize is happening, is that people will go to GMs and be like, hey, I'm thinking about taking this person in fantasy. What's your plan with them? And as a GM, you're kind of like, that's the last thing I'm worried about. But also, you know, easily an answer. Usually I'll give an idea. Like, for me, I've been able to mostly say things like, well, look at what they did last season. Consider that a floor, and that they'll be better than that, and make a decision based on it. Which is great, because it's an answer that tells them what they want to hear, but it doesn't really say anything. But, you know, we got fantasy going on. We're just in the midst of all the drafting. We got off-season, preseason going on. Season predictions are up, so get those in. Get your new equipment purchases if you haven't. Write your draft media articles and do your podcast while they're still 1.5. Read whatever books Ice is writing. Significant wink. It actually looks like I have something in there. Actually, I do have something. Wink. Yeah. I'm gonna stop rambling, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that for Daisy, who's napping. Yeah, you heard her. For my wife's Pinkins, back here, Rivers. The Arizona Outlaws, who I'm speaking for no apparent reason. Colorado Yeti, who might have a GM for more than 3 seasons in a row. That'd be nice for them. For the Austin Top Raiders, most of all. The giant salamanders that live among us. I'm Adam S. This has been my podcast. I'm going to sign off now.